Tonight's video is day 3 of exponents. So we're going to build on what we've been doing. So again, I just want to start with a reminder here, just because we're going to build off of this idea in the rest of the video. So we have x cubed y to the 4th divided by x y to the 6th, and we want to simplify that. So remember what we did. We went ahead and we expanded each of those problems, right? So we took x to the cube, x times x times x. Y to the 4th, we had 4y's. And then on the bottom, we had an x. And then we have y to the 6th with 6y's. And then what did we do? We canceled those things that looked alike. So if we go with our x's, we have an x on top that cancels with an x on bottom. That's all the x's that can cancel. For y's, we can cancel this y with this y here with this one with this one, and this one with this one. So now let's look. What is it that we have left over? Well, we have this left over, these left over. So what would be my answer? We have 2 x's, so we'll write that as x squared. And we have 2 y's on bottom, so we would write that as y squared. So that would be our simplified answer to that problem there. So tonight's video has to do with the power rule of exponential expressions. And we're going to learn how to do that. You don't need to know the name. Number 1 says rewrite the base of the power n number of times. So n number of times is that guy right there. The exponent is on the outside of the parenthesis. So the base is the thing that the exponent is above. That step says rewrite the base of the power n number of times. So you're going to rewrite x squared y cubed 2 times. Because that's your exponent. X squared y cubed times x squared y cubed. That's the first step. Second step says to expand each of the factors. So that means we're going to expand this and we're going to expand that. So let's go ahead and do that. So x squared, we're going to write x times x. Y cubed, you're going to write y times y times y. So that's the first set. So this here is that first set, and then you do it again. So you have x squared, which is x times x, and y cubed, you have y 3 times. So this here is represented there. So that's expanding each factor. And the last step just tells you to simplify your answer. So if we look over here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. So that's x to the 4th. And then you're going to count your y's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 y's. So you're going to say y to the 6th power. So that's what you would do using the power rule. Now we're going to move into some examples that you're going to see me doing in GMM. You're going to record on your note sheet that you have in front of you. Example 1. So z to the 5th times y, all of it to the 3rd. So what does this mean? This means z to the 5th times y 3 times, which then what does that mean? Well, each of these, you're going to have 5 z's and a y. 5 z's and a y, and then 5 more z's and a y. So now we have to combine all of our z's. So we have 5 here, 5 there, 5 there. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. So it's going to be z to the 15th. And then if you look at your y's, you have a y here, and a y there. So you have 3 of them. So you're going to say y to the 3rd. And that's what you're going to type into GMM. So typing, you get z exponent 15, and then make sure you come out of the exponent, y exponent 3. Example 2. Z to the 3rd, x to the 4th, all raised to the 3rd power. So again, we'll start with this 3. So we're going to do z to the 3rd, x to the 4th 3 times. And now we're going to have to expand each of those. So this one here, you have z times z times z times x times x times x times x. That one there, you're going to have z times z times z times x times x times x times x again. And this one again, z times z times z times x times x times x times x. And now to simplify, you're going to combine your z's and combine your x's. So for z's, we have these z's, and these z's. And if we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have z to the 9th power. And now let's do the x's. So these x's here, these x's, and these x's. So count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to be x to the 12th power. And that's what you're going to put into GMM. Z exponent 9 over x exponent 12. Example 3. X to the third, z to the second, x to the fifth, raised to the fourth power. So again, this is going to make you take it 4 times. So you're going to have x to the third, z to the second, x to the fifth, that's 1. Then you would have x to the third, z to the second, x to the fifth, that's 2. Then you have x to the third, z to the second, x to the fifth, that's 3. And you have x to the third, z to the second, x to the fifth, that's 4. That's 4 times. And now you're going to have to expand each of these as you go. So for the first one here, you're going to have x times x times x times z, and then times x times x times x times x times x. So that's the first expansion. Now let's do the second one, right? So I'm going to put it down here. So we have x times x times x times z again times x times x times x times x times x. So that's the second one. We're going to do that again. So if we take this one, we have x times x times x times z times x times x times x times x times x. That's the third one. And now the last one, I'm going to put it down there. So we have x times x times x times z times x times x times x times x times x. So now we have to combine all of our x's, combine all of our z's. So let's start with x's. So we have an x, right? So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In each row, I have 8. So if you want to use your multiplication skills, you can do 8 times 4 and get 32, or we can continue counting them. 9, 10, 11, 30, 31, 32. So that was x to the 32 power. Now we got to do our z's. So our z's, and where are our z's? We have 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, or counting them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be z to the 8th. So that's going to be your answer. X exponent 32. Get out of there. Z exponent 8. Example 4. So this one, be careful, because if you look, it's only the z to the fifth that has the 2. So you're only going to expand the z to the fifth twice. So your first step here is to write this as z to the third, and then you're going to write this out twice. So you have z to the fifth times z to the fifth. So that's your first step. And then you're going to expand. So z to the third is z times z times z. Z to the fifth is 5 z's. And then we're going to do it again. And now to get my answer, remember we're going to count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 z's. So this is going to be z to the 13th power. So in GMM, z exponent 13. Example 5. So simplify z to the 7th times z to the 6th raised to the 2nd power. So again, I'm going to stress to you that this 2 here only goes to this part here. That z to the 7th is separate. So what does that actually mean? That means you're going to take this here and you're going to write it out twice. So you would have z to the 6th times z to the 6th. That's your twice. And then you're going to bring down the z to the 7th. So then you're just going to expand all of that out. So z to the 7th is 7 z's. Z to the 6th is 6 z's. And that takes care of this one, but I have to another one. So I have another set of 6 z's that I'm writing. And now I have everything expanded. So to come up with my answer, you have a z, and then you just have to count your z's. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So our exponent would be 19. Type z exponent 19. Example 6. So in this example, you have y to the 7th to the 3rd times y to the 5th. Again, remember, this 3 here only goes to this base here. So that's the only thing that you are writing out 3 times. So to expand this, you're going to take this here and you're going to say y to the 7th times y to the 7th times y to the 7th. And then this here is extra. So it just tags along at the end. And now what you have to do is you have to actually expand each of those out. So you're going to have 3 sets of 7 y's. So this here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 7 y's. So that's that one. And then to do this set, you have another set of y's. To do this set, you have another set of y's. So notice how I'm writing out y to the 7th 3 times. And then I have this extra y to the 5th, which is you're just putting out 5 y's. So then to get my answer, since they are all y's, you're going to have a y, and then you just count to the 26th power. So we're going to type y exponent 26, and that should be it. There are 4 your turns that we are going to ask that you do. It is expected that you do these. This is part of the homework. This is the most important part of the homework, in that you understand what it is that you're supposed to do for the lesson. Go over these in class. Have a good night.